have a 3 to 4 now after this. Right. So, hi guys. Good morning. Welcome to our
Hello,
focus
everyone.
activity 10 to 13 with me and my wonderful colleague Seth. I'm sure most of you know us
We're like
by
a
now.
dynamic duo every
I know
morning. We're always
every
together
morning.
in the morning.
We should start this. We
It's
should start a
nice.
radio station now. You know.
We should. um,
So
no
yeah.
one's here
So
yet.
no one's here yet. So yeah. So. ah,
Well, let me put up a little banner here asking
yep.
everyone
Oops.
to, if, oh, 5 people. Oh, goodness, we
Yeah, yeah,
jumped to
nice.
5.
Yeah,
Hello.
exactly. Hello, good morning.
Uh,
With Seth and
here we
Angela.
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's introduce ourselves. Oh,
Believe,
good.
yeah, go
So,
for it.
a lot of people here. Good morning, Carla from Bologna.
Hi,
Good
Carla.
morning. Christina from Rome. And Sonia from Romania.
And someone from Milan. I don't think Pasqualina is not from our school, I don't think. I don't think I recognize this name. Do you, Angela?
Lena from
Maybe if you
no,
come in the evening.
maybe in the
Angela and
evening.
I are both from the
The morning.
Meravigli school in,
Yeah,
yeah, and we always teach usually in the mornings as well. So
yeah.
Pasqualina, maybe you come to our school, but we just don't see you.
Because we
So
work only in the mornings. Yeah. So
yeah.
welcome. We're happy to have you here. And yes, let me introduce myself again. My name is Angela, and I'm from a tiny little country called Nepal in Asia. And I have lived around the world, and I am very happy to be here to share my experiences with you and talk about world events with my wonderful colleague Seth, who's going to introduce himself.
Hello. Sure. So yes, my name is Seth. I'm from the United States, from Ohio. My state is Ohio. Um, Today I'm very tired. I'm getting very like the routine of the quarantine is starting to I don't know, like it just I
So
needed to change, you know. And so
it's wearing
last
you
night
down.
I made the stupid decision. Actually, it was very fun, but a stupid decision to stay up playing the PlayStation. And I played until 3 o'clock in the morning.
Oh Lord, no,
And
don't do that.
luckily, I'm beginning work now. This is my first lesson today. So I mean, I slept until like 9:30. So I mean, I still did get some sleep, but I'm too old to do that anymore. We're getting too old.
I know. Oh,
Um,
no,
and
no.
also it's strange today because today's Good Friday. In the Christian for Christians,
Yeah,
today is a very
exactly.
important day. But it's weird because it doesn't feel like it
Isn't
because the quarantine has just changed everything so much.
yeah, isn't it supposed to be a holiday?
Well, for Christians, it's an important day for Christians. And then I mean, even tomorrow would be if we were in a normal situation. Saturday, Sunday, Monday is the Aponte for Easter, and then on Monday the Pasquetta. You know,
Uh-huh.
um,
Mm-hmm.
but it will be pretty. But I think so. Monday is a holiday. I don't know if you noticed on our work schedules.
Yeah, yeah, it's a holiday,
There's
yeah.
no work on Monday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So.
that's true.
So
So it's
happy
Easter Monday.
Easter, even though it will be the same as every other day for the past
Yeah,
month.
true. Exactly. And welcome, Morgana. Morgana from Florence. Welcome. Okay,
It's a
great.
nice picture. She looks like a happy person.
Yeah, and Sylvia from
And
Milan.
Sylvia. Sylvia's not
It's
late
us,
today.
Sylvia.
Sylvia always comes right at the end of class. Good job, Sylvia. You made it.
Yeah, we're happy to see you here, Sylvia. And we know Sylvia because, she comes to our school. Fabrizio from Milan, welcome.
Hi, Fabrizio. Nice, you guys. We have a nice bunch. A nice
Yeah,
bunch.
nice, great.
Oh, see, look, I forgot that I'm the one who's supposed to click on the slides. I'm like, Angela, continue. Let's start the lesson. But it's my job to start the lesson.
Yeah,
So today we have this activity. I think you guys will really be able to help participate at home because it's talking about important things that are happening. And right at home, everyone has some kind of opinion what's going on in the world. So share with us,
absolutely.
please. Talk to us. Let us know what you think.
Yes,
Do
let
you
us.
want to read, Angela, what we are doing
Yes,
today?
yes, let's do it. Okay, so world events. In this focus activity, we're going to be talking about newspaper articles, probability phrases, and discussing world events. Okay, so nice and interesting. And we're going to make it really juicy and exciting. All right,
Mm-hmm.
so it's
Yes.
going to be a wonderful focus activity. Okay,
Nice. Okay,
nice.
so moving on to our first set of Angela again, if you want to read, if you want to read
Yeah,
all
yeah,
the and you guys at
sure.
home, if you want to begin sending us some of your
Yeah, just
ideas
answer.
and we'll
Yeah,
grab them and run.
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So, what the first question asks is, what's the biggest world event at the moment? Ooh, that's an interesting topic. Okay, and number two, do you think your culture is too obsessed with the news? Why? Number three, in the modern age, what are the quickest methods of finding out about the news? Okay,
Mhm.
my daughter there watching Frozen 2 and trying to sing along. Ooh. Okay, so let's start off with Carla's topic of COVID
Exactly,
19.
Carla, obviously.
Nice. Tell us,
Hmm.
what do you know about
Yeah.
this virus, this terrible virus
What do you think of it too? Yeah.
that has brought us to our knees? Yeah, brought us to our knees. It's brought the whole economy to a screeching halt. It's brought it's made so many people jobless. Unfortunately, it's basically
Yeah.
turned our worlds upside down. Okay, so I'm just trying to add in some vocabulary for you to ask us in case you don't know. Seth,
Mhm.
while they're writing, give us your opinion about the COVID-19.
Well, I think it's been interesting because now this is 6 weeks, I think, right? That we've
Oh God,
basically
yeah,
been at home.
yeah.
And I think it's been very interesting watching, or the sort of like every week seems to have a different flavor,
Mhm,
you know? And like the first week, it was sort of, I don't know, the first week there was like an excitement, not a positive excitement, but just, this new thing. This has never happened before. And and then it seems like everyone's sort of like as a whole, everyone is sort of feeling similar things, like the up
mhm,
and down. I know that last week, last Friday was sort of the first when they made that first decree. Last Friday was
when the
potentially the
curve
end.
was flattening. Okay, the end of the
Yeah,
curve.
and yeah, and I found that last week, already last week we knew that it wasn't going to be finished. And I think people really felt like it felt very heavy to know that this, the goal, the hope, the optimistic idea was that last Friday maybe things would be ending, but we
Mhm,
aren't done. And so this
mm,
week too has been particularly, I mean, even like all of the teachers, we've all sort of commented how students, even our jobs, students in the webinars are a little quieter. People aren't coming in the same amount of numbers as they were in the first two, maybe second and third week. We had a lot of people watching, but everyone's getting tired and
sure.
um, it's
Yeah.
a long process and
Mhm.
um, Yeah, everyone's
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah, exactly. So Sonia says that in that difficult period, there are a lot of fake news to us. So in this difficult period, because we're still going through
This
it,
period.
there is a lot of fake news doing the rounds. Yes, absolutely. A lot of people coming up with their own theories and so on. And Pascalina says in this moment, we are obsessed with the news. Yes, we are kind of obsessed with the news. Don't you think, Seth? Because we're always
Yeah, I
looking
stopped
for updates.
looking, to be honest. I read
Yeah,
very little about it now. I'm tired of it.
oversaturation. Yeah,
Yeah. Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So Christina says in
Yeah.
Italy, a lot of newspapers, TV channels publish fake news every moment. Oh my God, tell me about it.
It's
Everywhere in
too
the world,
bad.
it's
It's
not
too
just
bad.
Italy. And
Mhm.
yeah, Morgana says, obviously, this pandemia has the main titles everywhere. Ah, okay, very good. We'll look into those
And
words.
yeah, and pandemic. We use the
Mhm,
word pandemic,
mhm.
English,
Yep,
pandemic,
pandemic.
right?
Okay, but pandemia sounds so legit, doesn't it? It's sometimes very
It does.
confusing.
It sounds like a book title or
Yeah,
something,
exactly.
but the proper word for us is a pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Carla says, I think scientific people, okay, scientists don't know many things about this virus till now. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So we don't have the vaccine yet, and they're working on it.
Hmm.
Fabrizio says,
Hmm.
obviously, at the moment, every newspaper's topic is COVID-19, but even though equally important will be the financial crisis. Oh, I don't even
And
want
see
to
what
know.
happens after. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Christina says, on the internet, anyone can write or publish news. Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
Yes,
on the internet. Yeah,
unfortunately.
wow, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. My mother, so my mom, they're in the United States, and so they are kind of a few weeks behind us in the development of the virus in their country.
Hmm.
And it's been interesting to me that like when we were already experiencing things, no one was really asking me about it. My friends, people, because they just didn't, it wasn't, Americans tend to be like this. There is a bit of isolation because the country's so big. And the news we tend to hear in the United States is usually about the United States, and maybe we hear one little story about Italy or one little story about China. But so in the weeks before, um, no one was asking me anything. And then as soon as it became important in the United States, many people started asking me. And now I find it interesting that many of my friends seem to have become experts and authorities on the coronavirus because
Oh,
they
yeah.
read so much. It's also a very American thing, I know, to become um, but so I have friends calling me, telling me like, "Now, Seth, you need to do this," and I'm like, "Excuse me, we have been doing this since February. I'm the one who tells you, okay?" Like, geez, and I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm
Yeah, we're so
done.
over with it.
Like,
So over it. Yeah, I know. It was
yeah,
strange because on March 3rd, okay, so what happened was, do you remember when it first came to Italy, we thought it was just a little flu, and okay,
yeah,
things in Wuhan stayed in Wuhan, and we wouldn't really be affected as much, or so we thought. Okay, we were so wrong. Looking hindsight, we were really wrong. So I went to the US on March 2nd. So, because I didn't really think it was a big deal. I mean, I was so wrong. But in the US, so I landed into Miami airport, and I thought that maybe, they would quarantine us. So I don't know. I was expecting whatever, but there was nothing. I mean, nobody talked about the virus. Nobody. So we were just like, it was smooth sailing, and we went in from Italy. So, I mean, so it was really like they were not aware of it at that time. Yep. So, yeah. And then when we got back to Italy, we were on lockdown.
yeah. I
Mm,
just wrote because we were saying I'm over it, and that's a really
mm,
nice expression I thought for these
yeah.
guys. So to be over something, like we use it
Hmm.
with a thing, with a person, with anything, but just
Yeah.
when we're tired of something. I'm
Yeah.
even
Exactly.
Even with
over
a
this.
song, if there's a song that you always hear on the radio, oh, I'm over this song. I've heard
Yeah,
it too much.
yeah,
But
exactly.
I'm over coronavirus. I'm tired of
So Sylvia says, I
it.
usually read the national newspaper. In the newspaper, the coronavirus pandemic is the most important title of all the articles. Okay, so basically, they're talking only about the coronavirus, which I can imagine. Okay, so Christina says, financial aid from the European community is denied. Yeah, has been denied. Okay,
Has
has
been, yeah.
actually been denied, if you want to use the word actually. Yes, I
Remember
know,
that
it was strange.
actually, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, 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 go ahead. I was just, yeah.
Well, actually, just remember, Christina, that actually in English is different. So probably you want to be using currently, because actually in English is usually like an enforcer. We
Yeah,
use it to emphasize. So to say something like, I actually read that blah blah blah. So it's we use it as a way of exaggerating. So I
yeah,
think in your sentence, you probably want it to say financial aid, and also financial aid for us is singular, it's uncountable. Financial
yeah,
aid from the European community is currently now
yeah.
denied.
Currently denied. Or
Uh,
it could be that she means, like, can you believe it? It was actually denied, in that sense,
it
to
could
like
be
put
this
an
too.
enforcer. Okay, so you can play with the words over there. A
Yeah,
great, good job. Carla says, I like to
yeah,
listen to international news, so I listen to it every day on
yeah. Listen
Radio
to
Garden.
Radio
Okay.
Garden. Yeah,
Yeah, nice.
yeah. Fabrizio agrees with me. Looking forward to restarting. To after forward to, we're going to looking forward to doing.
Doing.
We want the
Yeah,
gerund.
ing.
So looking
Mhm.
forward to restarting, thinking, and facing real normal life.
Yeah,
Life
I
will be
can imagine.
different. Oh, Carla, don't
Oh,
apologize,
Carla,
Carla.
no,
Goodness.
goodness, yeah,
No
it's
apologies,
our
Carla.
job.
You should hear us speak Italian, and
Oh my
there's
God.
no need to
Oh God, that's
apologize.
better than me in Italian. I'm an idiot. Sylvia says, in this period, I am reading national and international newspapers to have some
Mhm.
information about the pandemic. Remember, pandemic all over
Mhm.
the world. All over the
Yeah,
world.
so pandemic, you guys, it's a word we're using a lot right now. Pandemic
Pandemic.
or epidemic,
Okay.
different word.
Epidemic.
um,
And then you take it to the next level, it becomes pandemic.
the pandemic, exactly. Um, let's think the next two questions though. So do you think um do you think that we're too obsessed in general? Maybe not, or not, what do you think about two or three?
Hmm. Well, I think I don't know what you think, Seth, but I think that yes, as people these days, we are very, very obsessed with the news, and that's why I think news magazines, news channels, they're really profiting off us because they can channel the news according to their viewers and brainwash
Yeah.
people accordingly and start propagandas, and they're really using news channels for
Mm,
this as they have done in the past. But nowadays, because of the availability and the things that are available in the market, the sources, I think that we are unfortunately quite obsessed with the news.
yeah. I would agree. I have quite a lot of my friends here in Milan are journalists, and they often struggle with that same idea that sometimes they write a story, but the
Mhm.
story, like the idea of fake news or news that isn't being just news, because really, if you think of news, it should just be what happened, right?
Exactly.
In a sort of
Mhm.
just and I know some of my friends, they have a hard time sometimes because maybe they are writing a story, but they have a sponsor And so when they write the story, they need to somehow,
lean towards.
mention, yeah. And there are times where they don't feel like they're very biased, because they have to make the sponsor happy. So they maybe leave out things because the sponsor says, well, we don't want that there. And so then they feel like, well, but then what am I doing? I'm not reporting the news. I'm basically a commercial, So
You're basically
um
just giving an opinion of, which might not
yeah.
even be your own opinion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some of
So
my friends, because in particular, they work like in like technology stuff.
Mhm,
But like I know one of my friends often goes to big technology fairs, where so you have like Google and Huawei and Samsung, but
mhm,
some of those companies sponsor their magazine. So of
mm,
course they have to write good things about the sponsors, and then they
absolutely.
just don't talk about the other ones. But
Mm,
sometimes there are really cool things to say about other
yeah.
technology. But if
Mhm,
they write, oh, and this other company has this new idea, then their sponsors say, no, 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 you can't talk about them. And then they're
yeah.
like, yeah, but
Ah,
and then imagine that for us, it becomes very difficult to know how true is the thing you're looking at.
exactly,
That's the
exactly.
difficulty always, isn't it?
Oh yes. Oh Lord. Yeah. It's a bad world.
Sometimes it's difficult to navigate. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sonia says, I
Very nice
had
attention
never
seeing
spent so much time reading the news before.
the
Oh,
news.
nice. Very good,
Yeah.
Sonia.
Yeah.
Now we are more obsessed with the pandemic.
The
Yes, Carla.
pandemic.
Yeah,
The
guys, don't forget your
pandemic.
articles, okay? Just your articles.
Well, I'm gonna move us. We've talked a lot about these, and now I'm gonna one
Mhm.
more comment, and then I'll move
Just one more,
forward.
yeah. Just one more.
One-
So Pascalina
yeah.
says, I think Italians in general are obsessed, in particular for black news. You should think that we have a lot of talk shows about them in the prime time. Oh, so prime time, okay, got it.
And I
And
think like black news. Do you mean? I don't know if we use that phrase in English too. I think do you mean like negative things, or
negative,
for
dark,
because I don't think we
yeah,
would use the word negative. We wouldn't use black. Black
yeah,
in
no,
English, unfortunately, gets too
mm,
much involved with race.
yeah,
Black news is going to sound. That's a whole nother thing to
like
talk
you're
about.
talking
But
about maybe the
um,
Africans, African Americans, or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
this is okay.
So,
So crime news is what she's
oh,
cleared it
prime
up.
news. Okay, thank you,
And,
Pasquini.
and Fabrizio says, I think that before we weren't obsessed with the news, but from the lockdown, since the
But
lockdown
since
has started,
since
yeah, we have all become we have all been brainwashed by the TV, radio, mobile phones, and in general from the internet. That is interesting. Yep. Yeah, because we are, yes, the influence is so big, it's so major.
yeah,
Sonia says, I think that generally our culture is obsessed with the news, but I think that in this specific period, it is normal since it is a world event. Okay,
yeah,
so
I would
remember
agree too.
this, yeah, because it's now, okay, not that.
Hmm.
Great.
Right.
Hmm.
Okay. This this next part not super difficult, but I think it's important just because already many of you guys have been talking about some of the words that we're about to look at, and you're
Yep.
using maybe not always the best word for an English speaker. Like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of you have said that there are many titles
Mm-hmm.
about coronavirus. And in English, we're not going to
Mm-hmm.
use the word title. We're going to use the word story. So this is
Mm-hmm.
a good thing. Not super tricky, but do pay attention because the words are not going to be new, but it's really
Mm-hmm.
specific language that we use for the newspaper
Yeah,
and for the news. So,
absolutely.
you want to read for us, Angela? You guys at
Yes,
home
let's
can
go.
start
So
typing your answer.
yeah, trying to tell us what is number 1, 2, okay, 3. Okay, so look at the newspaper, match the words below. You'll have to give us the words, Seth. to the numbered parts
Mhm.
of the newspaper page. Okay. So, Seth, you'll have to give us the words. Okay, great. Nice. So, reporter,
Oops. There they
column,
are.
front page, article, headline, title. Nice. So, what is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, and 6 would be in general, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So these words are probably words you've heard before. So
Yes.
just really pay attention to how we're
Mhm.
using them, though, because it is like I said, quite a few of you have written that you're reading the titles about coronavirus, that you're reading, or that there are many titles. And in English, we're gonna use a different word.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So all right. So we got a few. Thank you,
Oh, good.
Carla.
Nice. Oh, yeah. Colors, right?
Carla has said what?
Mhm.
So number 3.
Is reporter.
So this would be
Reporter.
the name of or the author of the article is the reporter. She's
Mhm.
also said number 5, the entire like section is
Mhm.
the
Would be the
column.
column.
Thank you. Do you want to keep reading
Mhm.
those for us? And I'll
Yes, yes,
the
sure. So,
reporter.
Sylvia says,
Oh,
yeah, reporter. So, number 1 is
oops.
headline
Okay.
or title, and then you go. Then you have okay. So, number 1, the title. Number 2, the headline. Somebody said headline. Okay, and number 3, the reporter. Number 4,
Yeah.
somebody says it's the front page. Okay.
Front page to me is like the whole thing,
The
right?
whole thing, yeah. So number 4, somebody says that it is, okay, where is it? Article. Number 5, column. And number 6, the front page. Nice,
Mhm.
good. Most of you got it right.
So the front page, and you might hear sometimes in English, like you'll hear things about like we'll use front page as an
Mhm,
adjective to say something's
mhm.
really important because
Ah,
so like this story is front page news. It's the
yes,
most
exactly. It
important. So like
made it
right
to the
now,
front page. Mm,
yeah, like right now, coronavirus is on the front page of every magazine, and it's a way of saying it's very important.
yeah.
Um, this is both title of the right New York Corriere della Sera,
Mhm,
Il Figaro,
mhm,
also be a title, the story, right?
mhm.
It's
Yeah,
also the headline. Headline just means big words. A headline means it's
yeah.
the big title of the story, when it's really big.
Mhm,
Um,
yeah.
Sometimes in music, you even hear if you go to a concert, you'll hear about like in sometimes like I went to a concert last year where the main singer was called Robin, but before she sang, there were 2 or 3 smaller bands that performed, and so she was called the headliner because she was the most important. So sometimes we even talk about if you go to a conference, the headliner might be the most important person talking. So
Mhm,
anytime you see headline, it's the idea of the most important thing.
mhm,
So
mhm, mhm,
yeah, Sonia's asked this question: is title the name of the newspaper? And title could be a few things. This position newspaper, the position of this at the top, it's the title of the newspaper. Two is also
mm,
the title of
mhm.
particular, and it's
Article,
also
exactly.
it's
Mhm,
the main uh, the main
mhm,
article. Yeah. So the important thing I think just to say that I saw you guys again is that some people saying I'm reading lots of titles, and that's not right. I'm
mhm,
reading lots of articles or reading lots of stories about something.
mhm. Yeah.
Anyway, a little bit different usage, anyways. So.
Mhm.
um, don't we have a column? A columnist is a person who usually writes
Yeah,
stories for a
yeah, a
newspaper. A
columnist,
columnist.
absolutely.
So there's even
Like Carrie
um,
Bradshaw in The Sex and the City. Do you remember?
yeah, is a columnist.
Yeah,
So it's sort of a
yeah.
specific type of journalist who's writing usually probably
Mm-hmm.
I think a columnist. Do you think that Angela columnist is probably doing like a repeating, like you have every week you have
Yeah,
your thing,
yeah.
like Carrie
To
Bradshaw in
write
Sex
about.
and the City.
Yeah,
Every week
yeah,
she writes her story. So
exactly.
um,
Something that, it could be something fun. It could be about politics. It could be about anything, but something in general, and
yeah.
something that you can
Do you have any
write bi-weekly or weekly, monthly.
yeah. Do you have any like news sources that you trust? Because I find that very difficult just to
Oh,
find
it's difficult.
something that I trust, you
Yeah,
know?
exactly.
Do you have anything that you go
No, I
to?
don't.
I don't read the news
I
that
don't
much,
know.
to be
Basically I read different newspapers and try to get my own. You know, I try to take away what I think is real and what I don't think is real.
yeah.
So when we're talking about this, I've always wanted to ask you: do you watch Fox News?
Ooh,
You can
ooh.
ask that to an American person.
I no, I do not. I do not. Fox News
Okay.
for me at this point has become. I mean, in general, the United States is so divided between Democrats and Republicans that
Mhm.
Fox News is a very, very we would say
Republican.
right,
Hmm.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
But even to the point where, but there's some equally bad, very left news sources as well.
Oh,
Um,
yes, absolutely.
so it's in the United States, it's hard, but my parents for a while, when Fox first started becoming extremely Republican, my
Hmm.
parents are Republican, um, and I don't really identify as anything, to be honest. I don't
Okay.
care that I will vote for the person I like the most, which
Hmm.
at this point is usually the Democrats, but I don't really, I don't have this like strong, like, I'm Republican, I'm Democrat. I don't have a strong sense of that.
Hmm.
Um, but no, my parents now, my dad finally, thank goodness, finally was like, Fox is getting a little crazy, but the news in America that I watch the most, and I would recommend to any of our students who want to practice a little bit with listening,
Hmm.
and we have a news company called NPR, which is National Public Radio,
Hmm.
and NPR is it would be similar like to England's BBC. It's the
Hmm.
national
Okay.
radio. Um, it's public, so it's not owned by a company, so it's not quite as easily
Hmm.
influenced by, it
Okay, that
definitely
sounds good.
is more I'm going to say it's more liberal, but
Hmm.
not democratic, but
Hmm.
liberal in the stories it chooses.
Okay.
To me, it's usually safer in terms of a little less biased. It's definitely more left leaning,
Okay.
but I don't know. It feels like they're really trying, especially in the United States, where fake news and things is so very prevalent. I think that they really are trying to offer real news that you can trust. You
Hmm.
know, so
So, but they are
yeah,
they are only
yeah.
radio. They don't have a TV
Well, yeah,
station. They don't have.
NPR, the letters, I'll write it because they have a really wonderful app that I tell many, many students
Oh.
about because it's really good for listening. But the app is called NPR One.
Hmm.
If any students want to go check it out, the stories are very, very short, usually 2 or 3 minutes.
Hmm.
So for listening activity, it's fast, it's real English, so it's for this level 10 to 13, it would be really
Yeah.
appropriate.
Good.
Um, but the news stories are short and they're about everything. I mean, you'll hear one story about Donald Trump, and then the next story will be about penguins, and then the next story will be about Mars, and then the next all over the place. So a
Okay,
good,
that's good. Sounds good. Hmm.
yeah. But no, Fox.
Because it's difficult. Yeah,
Oh,
it's difficult. Yeah, the real news.
what about like you guys watch Italy? What like because in Italy, what do you know, Angela? I know Corriere. I know 20,
Well,
so what is it like 24 Ore or something? What news sources in
yeah,
Italy? I'm curious from
they're
our
all in
readers
Italian.
would be
They're all in Italian. The only thing that I read is the local, because it's in Italian, and ANSA. So ANSA dot it. Okay, so it's the government newspaper or
okay.
news magazine, whatever, and they have a page or two in English. So that's the only news
Okay.
I'm reading while I'm here in Milan in
Okay.
English. So
Yeah, no, because I can read. I do read in Italian well enough, but I don't know which. Like every newspaper usually has its
mhm,
angle, as we say,
uh-huh,
and I don't know which ones would be considered more reputable, let's say, or trustworthy.
uh-huh.
Um,
So I think this is supposed
um,
good. Oh, my English, the spelling is wrong. Okay,
mhm.
that's the one. In case
Oh,
you need.
oh
Okay.
yeah. So if you guys wanted to go
Yeah.
practice some English again, that's great. That's really great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
This next part could be an interesting thing just to talk about. So now we move away from deep, our deep conversation to a bit of English grammar. So,
Okay.
thinking about headlines,
Mhm.
um, because well, headlines are kind of interesting in English because do you want to talk about it or do you want me to talk about
No, no,
it?
no, you go ahead. You're doing a great job.
Okay.
You can do
I
it.
just feel like I'm talking a lot, so I don't want to
No,
keep. I
no,
don't
it's
want
all
to
right.
be. If you're feeling, okay.
I'll just butt in.
So in English, you guys, the thing to so for you guys, the students watching in
Mhm.
English, we are especially with the news and with the headline. That headline is like the golden space, right? It's the most important story. So English has sort of developed a way of we have kind of a specific language for headlines, and we remove articles, we remove verbs, helping verbs. We make things as short as we can because we need it to fit in that small space.
Mhm.
So here we have, like you can see on the screen here, we have entire sentences that we want to reduce to a headline. So 2, 3, 4 words. And
Yeah.
it is possible. So, how about first, Angela, do you want to read for
Yep.
us the three things? And you guys at home, again, if you want to start thinking of ways that you can reduce this to very few words, but
Mhm.
still give us the message of these sentences.
Yeah, just give
There's
us
lots of
headlines.
possibilities.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So let's see. Manchester United are set to make an official bid for Paul Pogba in the next 24 hours. Club officials will meet the Juventus directors to discuss the deal. Okay, that's the first one. The second one, researchers have stated that Donald Trump winning the US presidency is one of the top 10 risks facing the world. As President
Oh,
Trump
great.
could disrupt the world's economy and increase political tensions.
He's my president.
So number three, the town of Collecchio in the province of Parma, Italy, has passed legislation requiring people to use only silent fireworks to ensure the well-being of dogs and other pets. So,
Okay.
what could be the headlines of these articles?
Well, so the way we have to do this is like if we look at the first one, and again, there are many, many possibilities. It just depends on what we think is important and what
Mhm.
we want to stress. So, okay. Oh, Carla has asked, what is bid? Um, to bid. So think of if in this case we're talking about football, right? So Manchester wants this player, Paul Pogba, and
Mm-hmm.
it seems as though Juventus must, Paul plays for Juventus and Manchester wants Paul. So bidding is when we give a price,
Mm.
right? We give a price for something. Like, so if I say, Angela, how much do you want for my phone? And
Mm-hmm.
Angela says, I'll pay you $50. Her bid is
It's
$50.
$50. Okay. Like in an
Um,
auction, you bid for things and then you know,
yeah. Bidding
get
is when you offer a price. When you offer
yeah,
a price for
offer a
something.
price exactly.
Um, so here what I'm thinking is, so Manchester United is important, and maybe Juventus is important, and Paul Pogba is
Mm-hmm.
important,
Mm-hmm.
and bid is important. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that when you were reading, I was trying to think what would I
Mm-hmm.
say, and I think I might make my um I might, if I were writing it, I might do something like, I'm typing what my thing would be. So Sonia wrote a new deal in Juventus football team, and
Mm.
this is good,
Mm-hmm.
very good. But in English, we make it even shorter.
Yeah.
And I wrote this one. I'm sending it now.
Yeah,
You
that's
guys
a
can
good
see
one.
it. MU and Juventus Pogba bid. It has all of the information in very few words.
Yep, that's a good one. Yeah.
Um,
You might have to remove that banner.
okay,
Just
yeah,
that banner.
sorry. I don't know what it
Ah,
says. What does it say?
answer the questions.
Oh, answer the questions. Yeah, I'll take that.
So Carla says, which next season for Paul Pogba? Oh God, Pogba. Okay, Pogba.
So maybe something like which team for Pogda?
Yeah,
Something like that.
Pogba. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, nice. Very good attempt.
So yours, Carla, sort of focuses more on Paul
Paul,
and
yeah.
what is Paul's decision.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it depends on how we want to focus the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, For number two, Pogba will soon be on Juventus team. Pasqualina, a very nice sentence,
Mm-hmm.
but so the idea here, and again, you guys, for you to be able to do this, maybe it's not important. But the important thing is to recognize when you read an English title, it might be very, very short. Like
Mm-hmm.
Pasqualina, I think that yours could even become Pogba joins Juventus.
Mm.
Done. It's
Yeah,
all the information we need.
exactly. Or
And if
Pogba
you really like Juventus,
Juventus.
you read the story. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. Because the idea is that it's trying to attract you so that you read the story,
yeah,
right? You see Pogba, you see Juventus, you say, "Oh, I love football." You read the story.
yeah. Something like that.
So it's
Nice.
giving you the most basic information.
Is the footballer still coming to
Uh,
school? Do you remember? We had a famous
we had a
footballer
guy.
in
I
you
don't
from
think
Juventus.
so.
I forgot his name.
He was, yeah.
Him for a
No,
while.
he wasn't from Juventus because Juventus is in Torino. He was from one of the Milan teams. I don't
Uh,
remember. Asamoah, wasn't it his name?
Asamoah. Yeah, his name was Asamoah. I think they said he was in Juventus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't watch football.
Maybe he won. I don't know. No, we had for a while at our school in Meravigli, we had a football player from one of the Milan teams.
Teams,
I
yeah.
don't I
So
don't I don't
exactly
follow
like
football, so
him. Yeah.
I get more excited when we have people from La Scala come to our school because I like music.
Yeah, great. We also have
Um,
an influencer. She's very nice. She's a
we
very
do, yeah.
a famous influencer. Her name is Irene. Irene. Yeah,
Is
lovely.
she the
Lovely.
one from Florence who
No,
studies?
she's
She's
from
always
Milan.
dressed really okay.
She's from
Okay.
Milan. But I mean, originally she's from Tuscany. She's gorgeous. I mean, it's very tall.
Oh
And,
yes, okay.
yeah,
Yes. And yeah, Irene, she's
just had a
wonderful.
baby.
She's a nice
Yeah,
girl, yeah.
yeah, lovely. All right, so back to
I'm Yeah, if you guys want to look ahead at the next two
Mhm,
and try and do the similar thing. So in 2 or 3 words, create a headline.
mhm.
And then maybe again, we can we can do this as well.
Okay.
Um, for the next one,
Mhm.
let's see, maybe. So here we have Trump winning the presidency is, I want that to go away. Answer the questions. Go
Yeah. Wait,
away.
how do I remove
I'm
that?
trying, I can't find it anymore on this big list. There it is. Hold on.
Okay. Oh, it's gone.
Okay, it should go away. So,
Okay.
so here we have the important things are Donald Trump winning would be very bad, right? That's the
Mhm.
basic message of it. If
Yeah.
Donald Trump wins, disaster. So, um, maybe that's okay, Sylvia. Don't worry. Oh, nice. Okay. Happiness is top 10 risks. Okay, that's a really common thing now in journalism. It's very common to give lists of things. So the top 10 risks for Trump. Top 10 Trump risks. Nice.
Top 10
Don't
Trump
worry, Sylvia.
risk in the top.
Um, okay, so
Okay.
Sonia, again, like so you've made it small, but we could even just say Trump risks.
Yep.
Be even shorter, right?
Yeah.
But just to show you what we do in English is sort of to really just condense. We make it so small.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah. Nice. Good.
Trump
Anybody else?
disaster. Yeah.
Yeah. Trump
Mhm.
disaster.
You know, his name actually, this is something that you guys might find interesting, but the word Trump, his name actually means something. It's a verb in English, to trump.
Yeah.
So to trump someone, it's a verb. So it's very interesting that his name is Trump because it's um, nice, Carla. Perfect. How to disrupt the world.
How to
Um,
disrupt
to
the world.
trump, what does to trump mean? If you trump someone, it means you do better than
Mm.
someone else. And
That
it's
lucky
usually
guy.
used in sort of an egotistical kind of way.
It is
Um,
so him, right? The name
yeah, it's very,
is
very
from the name.
interesting that yeah, it fits his personality in a horrible way, a perfectly horrible way. Um,
Oh Lord.
but like Trump in a sentence, like the verb to trump. So like if Angela and I take a test and
Hmm.
I get a very good grade, and then I say, Angela, how did you do? And she says, oh well, I did better than you. I then Angela trumped me. She did better than me. And Donald Trump is his. It seems like his main goal in life is to trump other people. So like very fitting name. And
Yeah.
there have been many stories in English that play with his name
True.
and this verb. So you could even a title could even be something like
Yeah.
Trump trumps the world.
Yeah. Exactly. To trump is like to win. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
And of
yeah.
course,
It's like
Pascalina.
winning,
Yeah.
doing better than someone. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Pascalina says stop fireworks in Colecchio or Colecchio. Trump. Trump. All okay. Great.
Oh,
And
Trump trumps.
Colecchio loves pets.
Oh,
Yeah. That's a
yeah,
nice one. Mhm. Very good.
yeah. Or maybe even like Colecchio cares for its pets. Oh, Silent New Year's. That's kind of nice, Morgana. That would
Oh,
be to me. That would be interesting. I would want to read that. I would think,
yeah.
oh, what's Pet Revolution? Nice job, you guys. Nice. You're getting the idea.
Yeah. Now you get the idea. Very good. All right. All right, guys.
Morgana, your title would make me be interested. I would say, oh, what's happening in Colecchio that it's silent? This
Yeah.
yours would make me want to read. Good job. Are you a
Very nice. All right,
Cool.
guys. So
Oh
we
my
have
goodness.
to,
I didn't even
yeah,
recognize we're
exactly.
done. Yeah.
Yeah, we have to call it a, we have to finish off. I don't call it a day. Okay, because we are running short of time. Thank you for coming. We hope to see you all again soon. I have
Yeah.
another
Thank you so
webinar
much. We were talking, talking.
that I have to rush to.
Yeah. See you guys next time. Have a good day. Happy
Bye.
Easter for those of you who practice Easter. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye. That was nice.